What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my updated draft for Game Week 1. Now I know what you guys are probably thinking. I released an updated draft a few days ago, but after making that draft video as well as the template team video, I went and reviewed my decision making. Now what's changed in 48 hours? Well, a few things have actually changed in my first draft. In terms of my content plan, I was meant to kind of rest today and start the positional reviews from tomorrow, and that's going to take up 4 days. But I scratched that because I wanted to get this draft video out for you guys as soon as possible. So yes, it's been 48 hours, but I think this draft might be the one. Hopefully I'm not that mate of yours that after every first date they say that's the one. And hopefully this is reflective of a more kind of well-rounded, better decision-making friend. So you guys can decide for yourself in the comments down below at the end of this video. Tell me, do you prefer this draft to my previous draft? As personally, I think it's quite a bit of an upgrade. So you guys want to see what changes I've made? Sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So firstly, shout out to all you new Legend members and members as a whole. I know a lot of you have become Legend members to kind of secure my team transfers throughout the season, and I do appreciate the support as always. Just remind on that factor, yes, the Legend members do get kind of my transfers live when I make them, but don't worry, all my content will be free, including my Discord server where there are free channels, so make sure that you guys join that. It's one of the links in the description. A lot of people have been asking me about the shoutout screen at the end of the videos. Don't worry, I'm in the process of updating it. We're just getting quite a few new members as the days go by, so I'm waiting for things to slow down a bit. But let's get into this draft, and I'll be going over the players that I've already spoken about in the previous video a little bit quicker, just to not waste your guys' time. So on the right hand side, in terms of the money in the bank, 0.0 is left in the bank yet again, and hopefully this team can help us get a 5th top 10k finish to accompany those ranks on the top right hand side. Now I'll be going over the players as usual in these draft videos in order of importance and kind of decision making, so you guys will notice a big change early on. So there won't be a change in terms of my number 1 premium, the number 1 most highly priced player in the game, Erling Haaland. He's still going to be in my draft. Now this is a wait and see in terms of kind of the upcoming games. They do face Chelsea tonight in their last friendly, and then you have the Community Shield coming up against United next weekend. So that Community Shield game should give us all we need to know about Erling Haaland's fitness status. As you guys would have heard this week, apparently he's been struggling with some minor injuries. But as I said, enough time, enough kind of friendlies from now till Game Week 1's deadline to get enough information, so I'm sticking with the Norwegian for now. No Kamsi armband on him though, that's going to be for the Egyptian Mo Salah, 12.5 million. I'm still prepared to pay this price point for a Liverpool asset, even though there's been some more attention on Diego Jota this week. Now the reason for that is that if Jota starts up front, is the nailed strike of Liverpool, he gets you FPL points, and you would have seen that in our pricing mistakes video. But once Darwin comes back and Gakpo comes back, that slot is going to be contested, and therefore I'm fine paying the upgrade for Salah at the moment. So yes, these two premiums weren't the changes I made to my draft, and it wasn't going to be for Isaac either. Now you guys would have seen in the template team video, go check it out if you guys haven't, has changed my thinking quite a bit. But Isaac at his price point is the most highly owned option in the game at the moment. He scored yet again in preseason after I dropped that first draft video, and I can't see him going anywhere come that Game Week 1 deadline. With Callum Wilson out injured, he's even more nailed in that Newcastle lineup, but they have just signed a new striker. However, I think he'll be kind of a developmental project. So Isaac, another player in my team that I would probably consider essential. If you guys don't have him, I would try and cover him, but at that price point, there's no need for it. Now the next change is probably the biggest one I've made in my draft, and this has knocked on a couple of price downgrades. So the player I've brought into my squad is going to be Watkins at 9.0 million. Now if you guys watched my draft before this, I had Havertz in this 3rd striker slot, and I wasn't really comfortable kind of owning him with Jesus potentially starting the season. So what do you do if you're kind of worried? Upgrade, and that's what I did with 1.0 million. So now you guys can kind of see what I was talking about, the knock-on effect. I had to find 1.0 million from the rest of the players, but I actually found it quite easily. So you guys let me know, in the isolation, do you prefer Watkins to Havertz? I think that you probably would. I think that Game Week 2 fixture against Arsenal is probably the one that you want to avoid, but besides that, the fixtures still look quite strong. Now all attention will be on the last Aston Villa friendlies. If they do get a penalty, I want to see Watkins take it, but I guess there is always the concern that he misses. But definitely the talisman for Aston Villa, and therefore I wanted a slice of that attack, even though it comes at a premium price. So the first 0.5 is going to come from a midfielder downgrade, but is it actually a downgrade at all? It's Anthony Gordon to Eze from Crystal Palace, at least Crystal Palace at the moment. Now there have been some transfer rumours of Eze, he could go to Spurs, could go to another club, but I might actually prefer him at Crystal Palace with the way they were playing last season. So unfortunately Anthony Gordon has to leave the squad at the expense of 0.5 million, but I might actually be okay with that with how much of a talisman Eze is, even more so without Elise. I kind of just hope that Mateta starts the season and is back from the Olympics, as that would make Crystal Palace even better. So Anthony Gordon and Eze, it's quite close in terms of the debate. I think Eze's got better stats as a whole, and therefore that 0.5 might be quite an easy downgrade, but it might be quite close between these two players in terms of points projections. Now the next player, Nkunku, has also scored a goal in terms of the Chelsea friendlies this week. The only downside, it was a penalty. The Chelsea manager even came out this week and said that Cole Palmer is the number one taker. No surprises there, but does make Nkunku a slightly worse option, as I would like to see him scoring some more open play goals. But still, at his price point without penalties, he's still going to be worth 6.5, I do believe. And because I need some good budget options with this expensive front line, he's also going nowhere. Now the next change is going to be a like-for-like switch. They're coming at the same price point, but I've actually swapped out Gabriel for Guardiola. The Man City striker just edged it for me at the moment. It might just have been that Croatia story with that guy buying the Guardiola shirt after his performance last season, but this does mean I'm potentially going without that Arsenal defense. Something similar to what happened with Dan Burn happened with me. I looked at the Gabriel fixtures, or the Arsenal ones as a whole. Their opening fixtures don't scream kind of clean sheets to me at the current moment, and that's why Guardiola might offer more attacking threat if he's playing out of position. There's a big concern though about potential rotation, but I think with Guardiola coming back early in the preseason, he should be nailed. But in this formation and with these downgrades, I actually need a nailed player in this premium defender slot. So it's a very 50-50 between these two defenses. I might go back to Gabriel, I might stick with Guardiola. Who do you guys think scores more points? Now in terms of the rest of our defense, it's going to be super cheap, but I still can afford a 5.5 in terms of midfield, and Andreas was in my previous draft. I just think at 5.5, he's the best option. Fulham have great attacking fixtures. I think he's been quite underlooked. Now, of course, you guys can go elsewhere. If you have more money in the bank, you can upgrade him. But at the 5.5 bracket, a Hudson-Odoi Langa could be there. Or you can take a punt on one of the new signings. For me, though, at the current moment, Andreas is the one to look at. Fulham just signed Smith Rowe, that hopefully will improve their attack, but hopefully doesn't make Andreas too defensive. Now goalkeepers have also stayed the same. It's Flecken between the sticks with his deputy backing him up, but he could just be a placeholder for another 4.5. If you guys haven't seen, the new Chelsea signed goalkeeper also came in at 4.5, so I would love to know if he's actually going to be nailed, because that's a steal at 4.5 million. You guys know those Chelsea fixtures from Game Week 2 onwards, they're simply outstanding, so I might take a punt on the new signing if he does become nailed. So that's why at the current moment Flecken is a placeholder, but he's a very strong placeholder. A very solid selection, as will be seen in tomorrow's goalkeeper review video. Then you guys know how much love I've given to Anderson at 4.5 million, my personal favorite 4.5 at the moment. Offers attacking and defensive threat, and I'm going to rely on him for a lot of kind of starts with this budget defense. Konza also at 4.5, there might be some rotation, but I do still believe he should be nailed, but I'm getting a bit worried and hope that he returns to preseason quite shortly. If he does, Aston Villa have great opening fixtures, besides Game Week 2 against Arsenal. Now you guys might notice I've got one 4.5 on the bench, and that's Konza, and that's because I'm bringing in a 4.0 with the better fixture, and that's Barco from Brighton. Now I know what you're thinking, having to rely on a 4.0 in the starting 11 does not look very good, and he might actually not even be nailed. But this draft relies on the fact that if Barco does become nailed at 4.0 million, Brighton have some good opening fixtures, I'll just have to make sure that he's going to play in the team. Now Stupinan currently out and expected to come back in September, so Barco should be at least fine for the opening game weeks. So yes, this is kind of the downside about going for a stacked attack with Ollie Watkins. Having to rely on a 4.0 never feels good. Now for completion's sake, I'm going to go over our two bench fodder. It's Winks at 4.5 and Harwood Bellis at 4.0. So yes, two 4.0 defenders in our team. Now if Barco doesn't become nailed, I guess I could go for another 4.0 defender, but none of them really excite me much. Whereas the Brighton fullback does offer some attacking threat. But yes, I mentioned this quite a lot, but definitely the downside of this team. To make things better, maybe put Konza in the starting 11 at 4.5 million. but then it's still 2 4.0s on the bench. That's kind of the only way I managed to find a draft I was happy with, by getting that extra 1.0. But you guys let me know what you think compared to my last team. So this is going to complete our new draft or updated draft video. What do you guys think about this? I guess if you put Barco on the bench and then put a paper bag over the bench, this team looks a lot better than my last draft. I really like the fact that we got Watkins as our third striker. I think he's on for a great season, and there is a downgrade for Gordon, doesn't look too bad. The rest of the team is okay, might switch to Gabriel from Guardiola. There's not much in that kind of selection. It's just obviously the 2 4.0 defenders. But let me know what you guys think. Do you like this draft? Don't you like this draft? How would you change it and make it better? Or you guys can just post your drafts in the comments down below or my Discord server, link in the description. Now, very important, the positional reviews will be coming up in the future days. That's the goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and finally forwards. So make sure those bell notifications are turned on, or you guys will follow me over on Twitter. But this is basically a wrap for the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. And I'll be seeing you guys for tons of content till that Game Week 1 deadline. But for the time being, I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.